For a few months now. We haven't known each other very long, but we've been kind of hoping for this day. So we're really excited to have this round. And Judge, I want to thank you, not only for your time, but also for what you put on that ballot. The good, the bad, the ugly, it helps me grow, so it is greatly appreciated. With that, let's jump into our super fun topic today, which is AOC should run for president. And as is the norm within these rounds, I'm going to start with some definitions for you today. So AOC, being Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I will refer to her as AOC for the rest of the round. Compete as a candidate president of the United States, and as Ian and I agreed upon, we set for the context of 2028. We're going to be looking at the weighing mechanism of on balance. So Judge, I want to remind you today, it is not my burden as the affirmative to tell you she will win, but rather that she will run, and that is what she should do, because it is going to unite the Democrats, as well as propel the Republicans to make sure they're putting up good candidates as well. And so she is going to be what is best for us on balance. Number one, why does she need to do this? Because she relates to the public. So point A is about who she is as a normal American. From thenation.com, she grew up in very modest conditions. She was a bartender. She graduated college with tens of thousands in debt, no generational wealth, yet here she is, not only in our IPDA round, but in the nation being considered to take one of the highest positions in the land. So that is a relatable stance for the American public. So point B, she has youth. According to the Partnership for Public Service in February 13, 2025, she brings fresh perspectives. She bridges deep partisan divides. She addresses long-term challenges such as tech, climate change, and economic evolution. And so we as the American people need to see the things we care about represented in our candidates, and she does exactly that. So let's get to our second contention, which is that she has a strong voice. Subpoint A is about her focuses. She focuses on economic, social, environmental justice. She backs the Green New Deal, which is 100% renewable energy. Pew Researcher tells us that most Americans support this idea of renewable energy. She supports Medicare for all, and according to the data for progress from late 2025, 58 to 65% of Americans support this. She supports tuition-free public college. According to Pew Researcher, this is favored 60 to 80% in the American public. She supports federal jobs guarantee. According to Jacobin, 59% of the American public support this. She supports housing as a human right. According to Shelterforce, 75 to 80% of Americans support this. And she supports abolishing ICE. And according to The Guardian, 50% currently support this. And that was an April article from The Guardian. So what we see here is that the things that America cares about, she cares about. So she's going to have a strong voice for the things that the American people want. So point B, she is progressive, according to The Hill in February 2026. She has political influence that has grown after progressive wins, such as the Fighting Oligarchy rallies that she's been doing with Bernie Sanders. She's endorsed Zohran Mamdani, New York City's new mayor, carefully building political base, not on vote blue or die, but rather vote American. And so she's looking out for the American people and what she can do to make our nation a better place. Contention number 3, we need change. Subpoint A, the American dream is dying. According to The Week in February 15, 2025, what we're seeing is an increase in housing costs, a decrease in economic stability, a decrease in access to education. And what these do are undermining what the American dream is, all of which she champions, all of which she wants to make better for all Americans. Subpoint B, she pushes back against Trump and MAGA movement. She's outspoken about Iran. She's outspoken about ICE. She's outspoken about aid to Israel. And C, she's not afraid to challenge and stand up for her constituents. She's not the Biden Democrats. She's not the ones that stand by the traditional what was should be Democrats. Instead, she stands up for what is needed when it is needed. And so the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Democrats in America need a change, and that is why AOC should run for president.
Anyone not ready? Starting time now, click. This is a personal honor for me to debate against Dena. It's actually the very first IPDA YouTube video I ever saw in my life, was Dena debating some years ago. That helped me see what this whole activity was about, and so I'm very grateful that she's back on the circuit. It's a cool opportunity. Let's talk about framework first. I think you said that on balance, App needs to show that she will and should. Were those your words?
Well, those may have been my words. The resolution does put the burden of should. So I'm looking that she should run, but it does not put the burden on me that she has to win.
Okay, so when you said will though, is that something you're gonna hold yourself to because you said it, or are you gonna try to kick it out?
If I said it, I don't remember saying it, so it may have been a misspeak, but.
Okay,
like,
I won't hold you to it if you're not gonna
literally on my flow, it says not win, run.
Okay, gotcha. So not, but I'm saying will run, will and should run, not
Should
win.
run.
Okay, gotcha. Let's go into some of your arguments, because the first arguments are relatability to the public.
Correct.
The public generally knows AOC. Do you know what her recognition rating is right now?
I actually don't know her recognition rating. It must be pretty high because when you look up AOC should run for president, there's.
It is between 70 and 80%.
Okay.
What's her net favorability rating?
That also do not know.
It's negative 11%. If the public already knows her and they generally disapprove of her, why is exposing herself even more going to benefit her?
They very much, though, approve of the things she champions. So what we don't see is another, at this point in the round, another opponent that would actually champion the things that the public's wanting like she does.
Okay, let's talk about Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, who may be running again, Josh Shapiro, Jon Ossoff. Where's the daylight between her policies and them?
Not sure, but there's nothing in the resolution that doesn't say they can't run as well.
Okay, that's all I have. Okay. 6 minutes starting now. Don't take the test before you have studied. Wait until you've studied and then take your turn. I think that AOC has a lot of admirable qualities, but because 2028 is not the right time for her to run, I'm proud to negate the resolution. I want to echo Dena in saying thanks for being here, really looking forward to the ballot. I think it's going to be a good round. Let's begin with Dena's case. I agree that she should be held to the on-balance standard of she should run. Basically, is this going to benefit AOC in the short and long term? Will it benefit the Democratic Party? Should probably be your metrics. Her credential was relatable to the public. I addressed this in cross. Right now, she has a negative 11 net approval from the public, who 70-80% of them already know her and have known her for a series of years. That means that they should be relatable to certain Democrats. She is not too centrist and certainly not to Republicans, meaning she is a poor general election candidate. Additionally, all of these arguments are totally non-unique. Yes, she is a bartender. Everyone has a backstory. Pete Buttigieg was the mayor of a very small town who did not come from wealth. Marco Rubio came as the son of Cuban immigrants. Gavin Newsom was dyslexic and was a self-made man in Santa Clara. This is a totally non-unique political story. On her youth, turn the argument. Youth is not valued right now in electoral politics. Experience is. The right blend seems to be somebody around Jon Ossoff or Josh Shapiro's age. We're talking 40s to 50s, because we don't want another 70 to 80-year-old in office. That's pretty clear from polling. But you don't want somebody who is barely viable as a candidate constitutionally. Contention 2 is strong voice. You can tag all of this as totally non-unique. There is not a single policy that Dena told you in the first speech that does not equally apply to every other mainstream Democratic candidate. I asked, where's the daylight between this and Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, Jon Ossoff, Mark Kelly, Gretchen Whitmer, Josh Shapiro? She gave you zero daylight in this case, so it's not a unique reason that she should run. On progressive, turn the argument. The progressive argument, as opposed to a centrist one, was used to beat Kamala Harris in swing states. I should know, I live in one, Wisconsin. You might have heard the most effective ad of the 2024 election, which was Donald Trump is for you, Kamala Harris is for they, them. Progressivism is often used as a cudgel to beat down candidates that don't seem to cater to the middle, especially the Midwest. But also, she's lost some for progressive credit constituency. In 2024, the Democratic Socialists of America, who endorsed her in the first place, unendorsed her because they thought that she was being too generous towards Israel. That's going to attack a warrant that Dena gives you later on about how she's being a moderating voice on Israel. Not true. She's not trusted by either side on the incredibly contentious Israel debate. Contention 3 is change needed, but totally non-unique. Every other Democrat that I've mentioned is talking about the Green New Deal, but in better language, because Pew Research puts the Green New Deal at a net negative. It was used to attack Biden back in 2020. You like environmental reform, but not the branding, and she stuck to that branding. Tuition-free college is not going to happen. Biden tried it. It was struck down by the Supreme Court, which is even more conservative now. We agree people support Medicare for all. So do the rest of the Democratic field. The jobs guarantee is totally non-feasible. The last time it happened was back during FDR with a much more progressive court. And ICE is a 50-50 issue. It is not a winning issue for either side. Probably becomes more of a harmful issue to say flat out abolish after the ICE issues calm down in the next 2 years, which is what's going to happen. Finally, on constituents, huge turn on this argument. If she's there to support her constituents, she should run for Senate in 2028. Chuck Schumer, senator from New York, is likely going to retire. He is very old. She's popular in New York. Be the senator there. That makes a whole lot more sense to achieve my opponent's value. Let's go to the negative case. I've got 2 contentions for you. First, it is not her time. Subpoint A, she knows better. In a 2026 conference in Munich, she straight up said, I am not going to run. Don't trust either of us. Trust her. Subpoint B, people don't support. The economists in YouGov did a poll, 2026, only 7% said they would be her choice, behind Harris, Buttigieg, Newsom, others. NBC puts her at -11 net favorability behind Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. Subpoint C, electability issues. YouGov in January said only 4% think she's the most likely Democrat to win a general election. That means she is less likely to get mainstream support because she is seen as too progressive, even though she was unendorsed by the DSA. Contention 2, don't be a loser. Again, don't be a loser. Both sides agree that she is very unlikely to win, but Democrats are not going to support a second-tier burnout candidate or general election losers, especially after 2 failed female nominees in a row, with Biden in the middle. I don't like it. I don't like that there seems to be electoral sexism here, but that's simply the case. It's highly unlikely they're going to get behind her. Subpoint A, burns political capital. 538 says that she's going to risk her political credibility by running, which Claremont McKenna argues creates a feedback loop of defeat. And UNC Chapel Hill furthers that failed candidates often struggle to fundraise in the future because they've already lost once. Subpoint B, she'll be exposed. Again, she will be exposed. She had a terrible, rambling answer in Munich just a month ago, where she refused to answer a basic question about if we would have security guarantee for Taiwan. It was clear she did not know the geography of the Taiwan Strait, of our relationship with Taiwan across the last series of years. And this is really like front page Google, everyone should know this kind of stuff. It's strategic ambiguity is what she should have said. It was a 3-minute answer, couldn't answer it at all. She will be exposed even further for ethical violations at the Met Gala and campaign finance violations that have been accused in 2026. Finally, subpoint C, she's lost the left's support. She couldn't even get an oversight position in the House of Representatives in 2024. And now she's going to run for president 2 years later? It simply doesn't make sense. For all these reasons, it's on her time. Try to ask her about it. Yes.
All right. So what did you say she lost in 2024?
The endorsement of the Democratic Socialists of America, that was the progressive group that got her the nomination in the first place back in 2018.
Okay. So they are all on equal footing, all these other candidates that you're saying, since you said they're not unique.
No. Some of them have less of the progressive baggage that she has. That's why she's significantly more net unfavorable than the others.
So the majority, okay, so you called her a second-tier loser.
Yes.
So the Senate needs losers. Because didn't you also say she should run for Senate?
Yes.
So we need
let me clarify the argument.
Okay.
The argument is she's very popular in New York. That's where she's from, is from New York. And she has a constituency in New York.
Okay.
If she runs to replace Schumer, she's likely to get the seat. General election candidate is not viable.
Okay, but you said that, that she should run for the Senate, yes.
Yeah, she'll probably get it in New York.
In New York, is the Senate only for the New York constituents, or does the Senate decide things for America?
So the Senate decides things for America.
Okay.
However, the goal of the New York constituency is to be represented by the New York Senate.
Does the president stand alone?
They have the vice president,
Okay, what else do they have?
the cabinet.
All right. Is Trump known for his details?
No, of course not.
Okay, so more often than not, or half the time, most of the time, he's
Trump-
accurate in his details?
Trump is a unicorn candidate with essentially a MAGA cult that is surrounding him. He's certainly an anomaly, and I'm not going to tell you that anybody's quite like Donald Trump because he has the best words and not the best details. We love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. She's a wonderful debater. We let him begin.
All right, Judge ready? Client ready?
Yes.
All right, I do only have 3 minutes, so I'm gonna have to speed up here to get through everything. And Ian's very good. He gave us a long case, but lots to get through, so I'm gonna try to get through it. He says he's not the right time. You can't tell me it's not the right time for change in America when we're seeing enormous issues in the economy, we're seeing enormous issues in the housing, we're seeing enormous issues with energy. You can't tell me the time is not now. She stands for all of those things, and she stands for the change that America needs. She says, she wouldn't benefit the Democratic Party. I told you, and he does not deny the fact that she does not necessarily vote blue or go home. She votes what she thinks is going to be best for America. This is not just a debate about what should be good for the Democratic Party. This is a big debate about what's good for America, because that's what the president is. Unfortunately, it's turned into their own parties, but really in the end, it is about what is best for America when we're talking about president, and that is what I stand for with her. She says, everyone has a backstory. This is not unique. Exactly, everyone has a backstory. Whenever we say that she should run, it does not say that she has to win. It does not say that she even has to win the primary, right? But what she is going to do is unite Democrats under the ideals of the things that she stands for. She's going to push Democrats, because she is a good candidate, to be their best selves so that they can win against her. She's going to push Republicans to have to step up their game, because she is not afraid to use her voice, and she's going to be that person with a strong voice. So there is some non-uniqueness. Even if you believe it's non-unique, it doesn't mean that it can't exist in the same round. Newsom can run and AOC can run. Rubio can run and AOC can run. That does not mean that the resolution does not stand true. He says barely viable. So we're going to depend on age. We're going to say because she's younger, she shouldn't run. Our vice president is currently 39 years old. Next, he said equally applied to the other candidates whenever we're looking at the positions that I brought up. Again, doesn't mean that she doesn't also stand for them. Just because it's non-unique does not mean it doesn't support the resolution. Next, he says given swing states don't cater to the Middle and Israel. She does not agree with the aid to Israel. Whether or not that makes everyone happy, guess what? She doesn't care. And that is one of the things that we like best about her, is that she's going to stand on her beliefs instead of stand behind her party only. And so, yeah, she may be dropped from the socialists. She may not be agreed upon about this or that, but she still stands what she stands for, because she stands for America, and that is why we should vote for her. When we look at the bottom here, she knows better not running. Actually, she said recently, a representative said she's not closing doors. No, she has not said I'm running in 2028, but she also hasn't said she isn't. Next, she said run for the Senate, but she says that she's a loser. So there must be some qualities to her that must be agreeable if he's telling us she should run for the Senate. I've already addressed the too progressive. She's not going to speak just to everyone. Don't be unlikely, so forth and so on. Second tier loser. What it comes down to is she doesn't have to please everyone. She just has to stand up for what's best for America. Please vote affirmative.
All good? Judge, hopefully you felt like this debate is not Dena catcalling me, or me catcalling Dena. Why would I bring that up? Because that's what AOC said a debate would be if she went and debated with Ben Shapiro. That is one of the millions of clips that will be replayed based on all of the baggage she uniquely has that will hurt her cause. I'm very proud to negate. Two things in this speech. First, the line by line of the argument that I see you diligently flowing. Then, the bottom line, what are the voting issues? I'm going to start with the affirmative case. First, Dena tries to extend the related to public argument by basically saying that she's going to unite the entire Democratic Party. I have several responses. First, there is no warrant. Remember I tell you, she could not even get a Democratic Party nomination in 2024 for a basic House Oversight Committee position. How in the world does she go from that with a negative 11 net favorability to suddenly uniting the Democratic Party? What is the evidence she's going to push Republicans when she's already polling lower than the two most likely Republicans to get the nomination? Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance think she would be a dream candidate because they can hit her with the exact same rhetoric they applied to Kamala Harris in 2024. On the youth argument, of course I value young, but my argument is nuance, in the middle, folks in the John Ossoff, Ben Shapiro age. She will be attacked by the voting constituency, a lot of folks who tend to be older, white, Midwesterners, who are going to say, she is literally not 40 years old yet. She is too young, she is not ready at this time. On the strong voice argument, it's not non-unique, it's worse for her. As I told you in the first speech, She has worse branding, because she still uses terms like Green New Deal that have conceded negative net favorability, but the same policies. On the progressive argument, it is conceded that the progressive was used as a cudgel to batter Kamala Harris. It'll be used to batter her as well. Plainly float that across. We agree that change is needed. However, that change is going to happen in the next election. It will clearly be a blue wave change election regardless. So you're going to want to have a candidate that can implement change, not ones who are arguing for things like tuition-free college, which were already struck down by a less conservative Supreme Court, to be tremendously ineffectual. On the Israel argument, just a point of clarity, she has voted to fund Israel. That is why she lost the TSA support. Let's go more specifically on my case, because I think there are just too many concessions here. I told you it is not her time because she knows better. Whereas Dena makes a new argument that she might run, she had a very clear statement last month in Munich. She is not running, period. Dena concedes the subpoint B, people do not support. We agree, she has negative favorability behind Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. And on subpoint C, it's conceded only 4% think she's the candidate to win the general election. 4% is not 51%. But I think you can very easily vote on the second contention, and I'm going to ask that this be your tiebreaker if this comes out to a close decision on your ballot, because the second contention is just clean dropped, not even an overview response to the second contention. I said that Democrats are not going to support a second-tier burnout loser candidate, and on a general election level, that is what she is. Not in New York. New Yorkers like her, we can agree on that, she's favorable there, she'll probably do the Senate, but general election, she is not liked, especially after 2 failed female nominees in the last 3 cycles. Why is this? The first voting issue is my subpoint A of contention 2. Tag it as, she will burn political capital. It is conceded in this round that if she runs too early, she loses credibility, creates a feedback loop of defeat, and will struggle to fundraise in the future. The second voting issue, she will be exposed. Munich 2026, she did not know basic Taiwan. It's also conceded that she had Met Gala ethics violations and campaign violation issues in this year. There is no response on your flow to that. But finally, the third voting issue is she's losing her own constituencies. She has lost the DSA's support over Israel-Palestine. She has lost the oversight position in the House. She's been ducking debates, at the Ben Shapiro example that I gave you before. Democrats want to fight him. They want to win. They want somebody who's long-term going to do something that's right for the party and right for the country. And change for change's sake is not a winning political strategy. So let's break down the worlds that would happen if she runs. If she runs based on her favorability, she will lose and cost herself a political future. In doing so, she will likely be branded terribly, harming the Democrats as well, and she is likely to split the party even further if this happens. We love AOC. We don't think she is a nasty woman, but it's quite frankly not her time, and we're going to be asking for a ballot in favor of the negation. We love to say negation today. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to your comments in Adina's final speech.
Yeah. Judge ready? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. First and foremost, thank you, Iain. So much fun, yay! And Judge, very much appreciate your diligence and keeping up. One thing though, I'm glad that you're a flower, because you'll see that it's really absolutely impossible with as much as presented in Iain's first speech for me to line by line touch on everything. But I am going to talk about some of the things he said I absolutely dropped which weren't true, and end with some voters for you today so that you can feel comfortable voting for the affirmative. So he says unique party, or unite party, there's no warrant for the things. But what he never really fully addresses in my first speech is the fact that not only did I show you the things she stood for, I showed you what exactly the majority Americans stand for. So when I tell you she'll unite the party, it's because the party is for America, she is for America. And so what we're gonna see here is that they are gonna want, or she wants what America wants and they're gonna want to win. And so when we're looking at what America wants, we are increasing that likelihood. He talks about the DAS unendorsement and the oversight committee not making it. That's a very short list, but what I did to address that was tell you that, yes, she's good enough for the Senate. He says I didn't address that she was a second-tier loser, except I absolutely did, because how can she be a second-tier loser and still be good enough for the Senate? He agreed in cross-examination, the Senate isn't just for New York, it's for America. And so how can we believe that she is not a good candidate for not being favored whenever he tells us himself she's favored to win the Senate in New York? So what we see is that she is standing for things that matter. She is standing for America. She is standing for the things that we need a change in today's country. He tells us these other people, but where have you seen the disadvantage? Where have you seen why anything he's told us actually means she shouldn't run? He says because, political capital and all that. However, what we need for America is what we need for, we need AOC in this case. So with that, I'm going to end with some voters. Number one, America first, not Democrat first, right? So what we see here is that I have asked for you to look at the fact that she wants the things that Americans want. I have done a lot of broad application here to both parties, to the entire nation, versus just looking at that Democrat, because she has proven she is not afraid to use her voice. She is not afraid to vote against party lines and do what she thinks is best for America. Two, we need an American dream revival. And that is what she is going to do. Our economy is suffering. Our housing is suffering. Our jobs are suffering. Our planet is suffering. And those are all things in which she stands up for. And then my third and final voter is the now. Why wait for change when I've given you plenty of evidence that now is when we need it? AOC stands for those things that we need change for. Therefore, when we're looking at the overall resolution of AOC should run for president, the answer is a resounding yes. So with that, I ask for affirmative ballot.
Great round, thank you.
Thank you.
Handshake, fist bump.